Hi and welcome to ECCB Connects. This is a program produced by the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank designed to share with you who we are, what we do, and how we serve you. Are you thinking about investing and want to know more about investing options in the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union? The Eastern Caribbean Central Bank shares information on how to invest on the Regional Government Securities Market, RGSM, as we encourage people to move from savers to investors. Stay with us, we'll be right back. The Eastern Caribbean Central Bank invites you to tune in and follow the 26th edition of the Sir Arthur Lewis Memorial Lecture this Wednesday, 13th November. The lecture begins at 6 p.m. and will be live streamed from the Sir Cecil Jacobs Auditorium in St. Kitts and Nevis. Pro Vice Chancellor, Principal of the University of the West Indies Five Islands Campus, Professor Justin Robinson, will deliver the lecture on the theme Resilience and Shared Prosperity, Implications and Imperatives for Small Island Developing States. Tune in to national radio and television stations across the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union and follow on the ECCB Connects Facebook page and YouTube channel for live coverage. It's the 26th edition of the Sir Arthur Lewis Memorial Lecture this Wednesday beginning at 6 p.m. Thanks for staying connected. Governor of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, Timothy N.J. Antoine, is committed to fostering growth in the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union through investing. The governor has highlighted that only 1 in 25, or 4% of the people in our region, invest in securities like stocks and bonds. This year, during the month of October, the ECCB and its Financial Information Month FIM partners hosted a range of activities across the ECCU with the aim of sensitizing people on how they could move from being savers to investors. One of the FIM activities was a grassroots investment seminar held in St. Kitts and Nevis. At the seminar, Acting Director of the Research, Statistics and Data Analytics Department at the ECCB, Juletta Edinborough, shared vital information about the Regional Government Securities Market and what you need to know to start investing on the RGSM.
I will be focusing on debt securities that are issued by the member governments. And I would just start by asking, by a show of hands, how many persons here have heard of the RGSM? None. Or are we just afraid to raise our hands? So it says a lot because it means that there isn't enough information out there as it relates to the government side of the market, and so I would attempt to share some information on that aspect of the market. The RGSM was established in 2002, so that market is now 23 years come next month, and it is not well known. The market was established to address the fragmentation in markets across the 8 member countries. So prior to the establishment of the RGSM, if one wanted to invest in government securities, one would have had to walk into the Treasury Department in the member countries and invest. It means then that I am in St. Kitts and Nevis. If I wanted to invest in Antigua and Barbuda or Grenada, then I had to go to those treasury departments in those countries to be able to invest. And so that's why the RGSM was established, to address that fragmentation in the market and to allow persons to be able to invest across the 8 member countries seamlessly. There are currently 5 member countries who are issuing securities on the RGSM. So we have Antigua and Barbuda, Dominica, Grenada, St. Lucia, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So those are the 5 of our 8 member countries that are currently issuing debt securities on the RGSM. Just to note, though, that when the market started in 2002, St. Kitts and Nevis was the first government that would have issued on the market. Since then, we've had some treasury bills issued by the Nevis Island administration, but St. Kitts and Nevis is not currently on the market. And then our 2 other member countries, the 2 British overseas territories of Anguilla and Montserrat, they have not issued yet on the market. So these are the 5 countries that if we wanted to invest in government securities, it would have to be in one of these countries' securities. To do business on the RGSM, it has to be done through one of the 6 licensed broker-dealers. The regulators for the RGSM is the Regional Debt Coordinating Committee, RDCC for short. And the RDCC comprises the financial or permanent secretaries of finance in the 8 member territories and the governor of the central bank. So that is the composition of the regulatory arm of the RGSM. What types of instruments can one invest in on the RGSM? And so we heard about these instruments earlier. So on the RGSM, there are treasury bills, which are the shorter term instruments. So again, if you're risk averse, then you would want to focus more on the shorter end of the market. And on the RGSM, there are 3 tenors of treasury bills: the 91 days, 180 days, and 365 days. And then we have bonds, which are categorized by notes, which are the medium-term instruments, 1.25 years to 5 years, and then the longer-term instruments, which are the bonds, which are from 6 to 15 years. And so those are the tenors that currently exist on the market. Of course, we are investing to build our wealth. Investment is not a charitable undertaking. And so when we invest in government securities, similar to if we invest in corporate securities and shares, we are doing so because we want a return. So if you do not like to take much risk, then you would tend to lean towards the shorter end of the market, so the treasury bills, which means that your return would be commensurate with that. And so on the market currently, for the 91-day treasury bills, you can earn up to 3.5% interest. For the 180-day, you can earn up to 4%, and for the 365 days, up to 5%. The bonds, as I said, are the longer-term securities, and so naturally, they're a little more risk, and so the earnings and the returns are higher as well. So for the notes, you can earn between 4.5% to 6%, and for the bonds, between 5.8% to 7.5%. And I'm saying up to, because to invest on the market, each of the issuing government has an interest rate cap. And so the rates that I've given are the highest rate that you can get for those particular instruments. So we're all here to understand how to invest as households, as individuals. And the market was established with objectives to help government to raise funds at cheaper costs. But one of the objectives in establishing the RGSM was also to provide investment opportunities for individuals like you and myself. And what we've noted on the market to date, that investments by individuals have been negligible. And by my short survey at the start, it reinforces that. Because if we don't know about the RGSM, how then can we invest on the RGSM? And so what this chart shows is that since the inception of the market in 2002 until September 2024, the regional governments have raised a total of 19.6 billion in debt from debt instruments on the market. However, households, all of us, and those in the other member countries have only invested 1.5% of that. So that's roughly 300 million of that 19.6 billion. So it means the majority of that have been raised from institutional investors. So your commercial banks, your credit unions, your insurance companies. So although the market was set up to provide investment opportunities for residents of the ECCU, we're not seeing that happening in the market. And the last bullet says that of all the households who have invested on the market since over the 23 years, when we look across the region, and we are estimating the population across the region to be around 600,000, only 1,085 households have invested on the market. So we are missing out on opportunities to grow our wealth and to transition from savings to investments. The other slide shows you the upcoming auctions for the rest of the year. And so since we are all here to learn and to start our investment pattern, I have shown you the upcoming auctions. And we see across the member countries, you have governments of Antigua and Barbuda, Grenada, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and St. Lucia, who would all be issuing securities between November and the end of the year. And this information can be found on the ECCB's website, ECSC's website, where you can get information on the auctions that are upcoming. You do your research, you made your decision you want to invest, you contact a broker, and then you are all set in terms of making that first step to invest on the market.
And now for this week's financial tip.
The 30-day rule. Whenever you are considering making a frivolous purchase, wait 30 days before purchasing that item. Quite often, you will see that the urge to make that purchase would have passed, or you would have completely forgotten about the purchase, and you would have saved yourself money simply because you waited.
Here's where we end this episode of ECCB Connects. Thank you for watching. To learn more about how you can invest, visit the Eastern Caribbean Securities Exchange website at www.ecseonline.com for more information. We'll be back next week with another informative program as we continue to share with you who we are, what we do, and how we serve you.